Okay, guys, second time's a charm. So I wanted to hop on here. I learned a few tips. I think it was in a Sunday school lesson, to be honest. I don't remember exactly where I got these. They're notes in my phone. And I was going through them and I was like, oh, I need to pop on and share these. So if y'all don't know me, my name is Tanya Johnson. I am the founder of Helping Hearts Homeschool. And literally what I do is I just work with you guys and teach you how to navigate the good and the bad of homeschooling, because it is a lot of fun. In my opinion, it's a lot of freedom. It's the best way to school. However, there's also some mess involved. Like literally we schooled when my daughter was on the toilet this morning. And if that makes you laugh, go check out my stories, because like I'm legit. She was sitting on the toilet doing her phonics. So go check it out. Let me know what you think. Also, I'd love to hear the craziest place that you've ever schooled, because I know we all have those stories. So let's hop right into this. These are 3 tips to help your child become an adult that relies on God and focuses on God and has a relationship with God, because that is the most important thing. Regardless if you're a homeschooler or you just follow me for like the funny mom memes, that is honestly the most important thing, is making sure our kids have a relationship with Him. So the first one is maintaining biblical priorities. And when I heard this, I was like, well, duh, we're Christians, of course. However, the first thing that he hit on was attitude. And I was like, ooh, crap. And he was talking about how we expect our kids to have a good attitude, right? I think most parents would say, yeah, like I expect them to have a good attitude. But then what is our attitude toward our spouse? And specifically talking about you wives, because that's what I am, right? That's what we are. Most of us on here are women. On this page, rather, not on Instagram. Are we complaining when it's time to do the dishes? Are we complaining when it's time to put the laundry away? Are we complaining about all the little things that has to do with housework and raising kids and, you know, being a godly wife? And then we're getting mad at our kids because they're complaining. So as soon as he hit on that, I was like, okay, I'm convicted. God, thanks for letting me know that. I'll get better. And then when it came to, again, still the first point of making sure we have godly priorities, or biblical priorities rather, he talked about, does your life center around God's word, or is that only for Sunday when you go to church? And he talked about the music that you're listening to, with or without your kids, because it bleeds over to them, but especially what you're listening to around your kids. Is it centering around God's word or no? Are you listening to stuff that you're like, the words, I won't even touch on beat and melody. I'm not here to preach anything, but just the words of the songs that you're listening to. Do they would they make God happy or sad? Put it that way. Are you talking about things that edify Him? Are you listening to music about somebody cheating on their wife and slashing their tires? The shows that we watch. Now, again, specifically what you're watching with your kids. Do they have biblical principles in them, or do they have principles that we don't want our kids picking up? And that was convicting to me, because even certain kids shows, my daughter's not allowed to watch. And I know, because I've seen some of this in the homeschool communities, I know that some of y'all don't like this show, and that's Caillou. Nothing wrong with it. There's nothing sinful at all with Caillou, but he whines all the dang time. And so that's something like 3 years ago, we decided we weren't watching in our home, because we want my daughter not to be a whiner and not to complain about everything. Yet Caillou does it in the show all the time and never is really punished for it. So I don't want her picking up that habit. And that's just a principle, right? That's nothing sinful. Now, of course, there are shows that we shouldn't let our kids watch at all, that we shouldn't be watching at all, because they don't have good principles in them. But even the innocent stuff, like Peppa Pig's another one that we don't watch. Nothing sinful in it. I would say the kids do whine a little bit, but the biggest reason we don't let her watch it is because the husband's always made out to be an idiot. He's always doing something stupid. The wife has always had some smart remark about how she's smarter than her husband. The kids are always having smart remarks about how their dad's kind of dumb. Like, I don't want my daughter thinking that that's okay, or thinking that men in general, like that is the norm, right? I want her knowing there's really good men out there, really good fathers, really good husbands. Like, the dad being the idiot of the house should not be a thing. So number 1 is maintaining biblical priorities. Number 2 is teaching your kids to trust God. And money is a huge part of this. Teaching them to ask God rather than just going out and buying it. Now, some of y'all are like, well, yeah, we don't have any money, of course. And I was there when I was a kid. I will tell you, I don't come from a Christian home. Now, we had very heavy influence from our local church. So my pastor would watch us anytime that my mom was kind of on a, we'll call it a hiatus. And anytime we needed something for school, or, you know, our heat was being turned off, or we had just got our water cut off, like they would tell us, you know, let's sit down and pray about it. And as a kid, I was like, okay, like what's God gonna do? You know, like I didn't have any faith at all. But as an adult, I look back on that and now like I know the power of prayer, and I know prayer is so real, and prayer has fixed so many things in our lives. And I like every single day I journal about what I'm praying for, and then also what I'm grateful for that God has answered. Like I see the hand of God every possible place in our life, and I purposely look for that. And I know it's because my teachers, when I was a kid, taught me to look for God and taught me to rely on God because I didn't have anything else. Now, as an adult, my husband and I have worked incredibly hard. If y'all don't know my story, I came from a very broken home. I ended up going to college. I graduated at the top of my class. I got married. We had a miracle daughter because I was never supposed to have a baby. And I kind of decided that I did not like dropping her at daycare every day. So literally I did a 360 with my life. And I decided I wanted to raise her full time. We did not have the money to do that. So I went and learned social media marketing, and I replaced my full-time income, and I became a paid stay-at-home mom, and it was not freaking easy. And now I get to teach other moms to do the same thing. Either they're working and they want to be a stay-at-home mom, maybe they're working, they just want a little extra money, or maybe they're already stay-at-home moms and they just want extra money, or they want to be able to let their husband not work as much. And so I get to teach that. And I'm so blessed and I love it. But money is not really an issue with us anymore. And so when he talked about this point, he said, how many of you are guilty when your kid needs a new pair of shoes? You just go buy a new pair of shoes. How many of you have your kids pray for a new pair of shoes versus just running to the store and buying it? New backpack, new clothes, when it's time to get a haircut, like things that we take for granted for sure, like we meaning my family. And I was like, I don't do that. And when I was a kid, that was what got me trusting in God and understanding that I needed to pray for certain things, like everything, not certain things. I needed to just learn how to pray for everything. And now as an adult, I'm not teaching my daughter that because we have the money. And I do kind of look at it sometimes like, well, I've worked my butt off for this. God already answered. So this is the answer. And it is, but my daughter doesn't see that. My daughter doesn't understand that everything we have is what we prayed for. She just sees, okay, I need something, mom gets it. She needs to see, I need something, God gets it. And I'm so excited about this. I'm going to talk a little lower because she's like right out there. My daughter for a year and a half has been praying for a Barbie dream house. Now, not because we couldn't afford it, but I did not want to spend $200 on a Barbie dream house when I didn't know if my kid was still going to like Barbies in 2 years. I don't know about y'all. Again, I come from a real broke family, so maybe $200 is not that much money. But for me, I was like, I don't want to spend that. This was 2 Christmases ago, so a little over a year and a half, that she really wanted one. So I found like a $50 dollhouse and bought that instead. And I figured if she still wants a dream house in a couple of years, we'll buy it. She's been praying faithfully for a dream house. So I found a dream house and I picked it out and I've already ordered it. Like all I have to do is pick it up on the day I'm supposed to pick it up. And I'm so excited about it because literally, she's going to get to open it and she's going to see like God answered my prayer. Now, obviously I still went out and bought it, but I didn't go out and buy it right away. So she's been praying for something and God's finally going to answer that. So I'm real excited about that. And all that to say, teaching your kids to pray versus they need to learn to rely on God and not always rely on you or themselves even. Like just teach them to rely on God. And then the other thing is tithing. That's something that I think is easier said than done with kids, especially if they don't really earn any money. So something that we do with our daughter is we do pay her for little jobs around the house. And then we teach her to what 10% is and that should go to God first. Now, I don't believe in blindly tithing to a church. If you do, that's awesome. My husband does. However, I do believe in giving it to God and where God is leading you to give it, however that might look. So that's something that I'm trying to teach my daughter. Part of it goes to a church, part of it goes to either people in the church or, again, just an organization that God leads you to give to. Now, I'm not going to get in a debate whether, like, what you believe tithing is. I've done extensive research and talked to several men of God about it, and I believe that tithing is giving back to God. Doesn't necessarily mean just blindly giving to your church. And number 3 is teaching your kids to serve. Now, this one came easy to me, I'll be honest with you, but I know that's not always the case. Because I come from a broken home and I was very much touched by the local church. We serve in a local church now, and I love it. I love working with good youth, bad youth, doesn't matter. And when I say bad, I mean they make bad choices, not that they're bad kids. But just kids that come from broken homes, we'll put it that way. And so I love having my daughter do that with me and work alongside with me. But one thing that I know a lot of adults struggle with is letting their kids serve with them, because 1, they want to shelter them and not let them see some of this stuff out there. I don't believe that that's smart, but again, that's a whole other topic. But regardless which way you serve, if you want to go serve in a soup kitchen, if you want to, bake brownies and bring them to thank you. If you want to bake brownies and bring them to, your local nursing home, obviously it's COVID right now, so call and see like what the rules are with that. We work on a bus route. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it. Basically, we go and visit kids and pick them up for church. If you have a little older kids, you can go cut someone's yard or rake leaves. Our church does what's called Helping Hands Ministry. So I think it's once a month the teens get involved with that, and they go and basically do yard work or like just volunteer and help shut-ins and widows and stuff in the church. So there's lots of ways to serve. Doesn't have to be through a local church. You can do it however you want, but definitely teach your kids to serve, because you don't want them to have an attitude where they think they take things for granted. You want them to have an attitude of gratitude, and I know that sounds cheesy, but that's just what it is. And you want them to be content with what God gave them. Now, that doesn't mean complacent. I'm not against working to better yourself. Again, obviously, I did it, and I'm continuing to do it. But you should not be so hurried to get the next thing or keep up with the Joneses, rather, that you take the stuff you already have that God already gave you for granted. And I'll leave you with this, because I saw this. It was on Instagram. I don't even know who said it, but I really liked, I'm trying to plug my phone in so it doesn't die, because my notes are in here. I really liked that she said it. I think it was Emma Watson, the chick that plays in Harry Potter, Hermione. I don't know what her last name is, but she said, she said, wearing cheap clothes doesn't mean that you're poor. Remember that you have a family to provide for, not a community to impress. And I was like, ooh, that's good. How many times do we want things not even because we really want them? We're just trying to like keep up an appearance. Especially some of y'all on Instagram, like you're trying to be an influencer, and I was there. I definitely had the attitude of wanting to be an influencer, and now I don't. Now I guess I'm considered an influencer, a micro influencer, I would say. But I call myself a content creator. I don't want to be an influencer, because influencer to me is like you're trying to keep up with the latest and the greatest, and I don't give two craps about that. But a content creator, like I get to put out awesome content and help other people and help share my life and share like the real and the raw. So don't get so caught up keeping up with Joneses that you forget to teach your kids to rely on God, because you've always got to have the latest and greatest and kind of be a show off. And that's nothing to say there's anything wrong with having nice things. I do like nice things. I get my nails done. I get my hair done. I like shoes. So I've got lots of like Adidas and stuff in my closet. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But are you buying the stuff because you want it? Or are you buying the stuff because someone else has it and you think you need to look as cool as they look? So I'm going to let y'all go. That was perfect timing. It's cutting me off, says I don't have good connection. If you don't follow me, head over to my YouTube channel. It's linked up in my bio. It is Helping Hearts Homeschooler, just like this. And all of my videos are archived there to where you can see everything on a playlist. So I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for tuning in.